That's by having an industrialization to produce, to refine, to manufacture, to pack. It is on your land, so it belongs to you. Once you start to do that, then now you have the power to export, the power to distribute through the regions. And the regions will also be producing, manufacturing. We will start selling to each other to fix roads and to pay salaries. But I'm sorry, as a young businessman who have become a leader, an entrepreneur, a philanthropist, I think it does not make sense to borrow money to pay salary. When you borrow money, you need to have at least a very well-defined method. Summary of your, should I say that, of your actual plan, how you're going to get your returns when you invest the money, so you can pay for the debt whilst you create wealth out of it. Now the problem is, in the past 32 years, our leaders have piled up this debt, and it keeps going up, and now it's catching up to be our GDP. I wanted to completely change it by making sure that I introduce one, which is Pillar 1, the 16th Regional Industrial Revolution. The reason why we want every single region to be revolutionized is because we New Force believe in 3 core principles. Principle 1 is equity. Where is the equity of the people? Every region deserves to have something within that region. If they are the custodial owners of that land, they deserve to have jobs. They deserve to create wealth there. They don't have to come all the way to Accra before they become successful. You're looking at England. There are people who live in Manchester and they've never been to London, but they have everything. They have a best football team there. They have all the malls. They have factories. You know, I want to say to Ghanaians, how do we expect to build our country if we're not ready to build the citizens of the country by adding value to them? So the number one thing about making sure that the 16 regions will create jobs for everyone within Ghana is very important to us. 2, you're looking at the water bodies of this country. The water bodies of this country has given us electricity for maybe 60 years. One of it is our dam. But look at the water bodies, they're left. No one is using it for anything. When you look at the Western development, one of their main source of transportation is the water. In fact, when you look at our country, one of our main source of transportation by importing goods into a country is by water. So we are supposed to use the water, 1, for logistics and for transportation. 2, we're supposed to use the water to support our irrigation system. Irrigation system is putting pipelines on the ground so you can feed the ground with water. It's 2024. Why do we still wait for a rainy season before we can plant food? If that's what America or Europe did, then they won't be able to feed 300 million people. So they feed the ground and they feed the crops the right nutrients by industrializing the ground. So irrigation became something that had to be added to the second pillar, which is the water transport. The water transport, it's supposed to unite us as a country. That's what I think God gave us the water for. So you're supposed to be able to cross from Afram to Kou, from Kou or from Afram to Volta. And you're supposed to be able to have ferries going up and down, okay? Transporting goods and doing business. All of that business that you're seeing on the water or ferries going up and down is job creation. And it's also exchange of something. But we left the water sitting. In fact, when we were going through the 276 tall to tour around the whole Ghana. The whole of Afram crossing to another region had only one ferry. And everybody had to keep waiting for it. But they had markets and sending all this yam and everything. When the yam gets there, there are no factories to process the yam. Yam can be sold in powdered yam. I will sell powdered yam to Nigerians. They're 287 million. If Ghanaians can manufacture powdered yam, they will buy it because they only eat pounded yam. So you can see that it's a target that Ghana have a massive packaging process just for yam, and then we can sell it to another country. Now, the point I'm trying to make is, with all the things that we're talking about in the pillars, if you follow it, you're going to see that we have brought Ghana a real 12 pillars. The third thing was to increase our power in electricity so we can have the right tariffs that makes it affordable and makes this country investor friendly for people to come. In the same pillars, you're going to see that we have reserves. Reserves by making sure that we keep what belongs to us. That is our wealth. That reserves is today being extracted by foreigners. Now, I'm not saying that foreigners should not come here and do business, but I'm also saying that no African or Ghanaian can just go to America and start digging their ground and taking what belongs to them and going out. You get a job, or you assist a company or an industry. That's what we're bringing here. We will bring the Chinese, but they will come to work. They're not coming to take the concessions from us. They will work, and out of that, our children will learn from the skill set and gain the skill set of whatever they're doing. Today, you have a lot of companies that have come and opened our mountains wide and taken the gold. But when they left with all the machines, and we don't understand how to do hard rock mining or even colluvial mining, so we're doing illegal mining, which you call galamsey, and unfortunately, that have destroyed all our water body. Now these water bodies are going through the ground and starting to feed the crops that we eat from. I think Ghana is facing some crisis, and it's not just economic crisis. You also have social crisis. You have a lot of crisis, and Ghana needs some sort of measures politically. I believe that I represent a force that can stand against the duopoly and to be a part of whatever that is happening, so the youth can also be the voice of empowering leadership. Now, by doing so, we have already realized that we have some problems in our parliament. The parliament has been formed from the 276 constituencies that every one of them have an MP. I have been to the constituencies, and 85% of them is not functioning, is not working. This is the time for us to give Ghana a real challenge by choosing one of the young people as well to become a part of this entire governance that stands for the nation, that stands for the country, that makes sure that whatever parliamentary leadership for the country, and change the narrative of politics and change the way this nation is governed and built. Thank you very much, Ghana.
Thank you very much for your presentation. Off with industrialization, which happens to be a very strong point in most of the presentation that you've made so far. I mean, if you look at the African continent itself, and Ghana included, it's been the promise of almost every administration within Africa to industrialize, and same here. I mean, we've hosted, I think, 10 presidential candidates. You're the 11th one.
No.
Sorry.
It's 11 presidential candidates. I'm the 12th one.
No, I'm just saying that. Here.
Oh, okay. I thought you were talking about the president.
No. I'm talking the one we've hosted here. Yes, we've hosted. Saying I think in the 11th one we are hosting independent. That's fair enough. All right. And there's one There's one thing that cuts across all of them.
The entire president that Ghana have had since
the same here. First of all, let's look at what the problem is and how you are going to fix the problem when it comes to industrialization. Why are we still not getting it right when it comes to industrialization, focusing on Ghana?
Well, the first, this question have a few answers because there are many problems. Now, so your answer will bring a lot of, your question will bring a lot of answers. But the first problem is leadership. You have leaders who don't understand investment and development. You have leaders that only understand spending for budget. So most of these leaders have come from either university or studying politics or social something. And then all of a sudden, they give them a template and a program how to become a politician. And then somebody gives them a capital and they start to campaign. And then they use a strategy by either paying for people's stamp, which I think that is not politics. That's illegal politics, you know? And then they just get the position. Now, what I want to tell Ghanaians is that if you let somebody, you know, invest in your town and they give you money, remember, once they take the power in your town, they're also going to take the wealth on your land. So that's what is happening. And that doesn't let our leaders think about creating a platform for equality. Okay? And so if Ghanaian leaders understand investment and development, they will see that $1 billion can go into plants. Not only would that plant generate 5 billion in a space of 2-3 years, but it would also create maybe 50,000 jobs. So you're closing the gap of the unemployment and you're gaining value from what you're actually importing. Now you're industrializing it locally. So you don't waste the time of putting in 2 months for your people to gather your cedis and turn it to dollars and go and give it to the owner outside and bring it back. You hit them with taxes, 50% taxes. Then they sell it also times 10 what they paid for it, which means they're clearing all the money in the system. And then they go out again and do the same thing. So if you look at Ghana today, the average Ghanaian is a petty trader. He's not part of any private sector. The private sector is the government. The government is the one doing the business. The politician gives the contract. So he's turned the people who have potential to become industrialists into contractors. And they do paperwork and then try to do a road contract, and that's the same money he went to borrow that he's using taxpayers' money to pay the interest of the money he borrowed. So we're stuck in the same circle, and I think that Ghana needs to wake up that if our leaders are not doing that, then it's time that we change the leaders. And that's what I stand for. That's why I'm here.
Right. So leadership is the main reason we are not able to industrialize.
It's just the main, and you find a way to spend your capital on some budget reasons. It could be judgment debt. It could be salaries.
Okay.
Well, if you don't have any business that gives you returns and you pay the salaries, whatever capital you have, you might pay the salary for the next 6 months, but you'll cut. And that capital is very hard to come by. If you go to the bank, they might tell you, bring your mom's certificate, bring your house, bring your business, bring this, before they give you even 5% or 10% of the actual capital you were holding. So I think that Ghana needs people that understand money, how to handle it well, and how to make sure it's invested properly and is shared proportionally. You know, it's what we're lacking. So you become a template that Africans will start to replicate it. Remember, the young people are very intelligent because they were born in the era of technology. Okay, so these Gen Zs and millennials, you know, they're fast thinkers. In fact, the new forces economist is 28 years old. You know, one would have thought that I need to go and find a 60 or 70-year-old man who has this to push us because they have information. data and intel. That looking at most successful people who are contributing to the economy of America or China, most of these people are under 50. From Zuckerberg to you name it. And if someone is 75, then they were made in their 30s. An example is Bill Gates. You know, he was a billionaire in his 30s, and he's continued to manage the billions. So he's now maybe in his 80s or heading to 80s. And I think that's what we need in Ghana. We need billionaires in Ghana.
They are with the people, so the people actually select some of us to become our leaders. You are with the people. So what's going to be different about your leadership that, of course, represents the
Ball Safety Team, by your side on every ride.
kind of people and the kind of leadership that you're complaining that we lack?
Well, selecting a leader is a great thing, but I don't think that's the practice in our democratic system. Give them money and convince them, or give them rice, or give them food. They starve the people. I mean, that is not leadership. I don't know what you call that, but it looks like a political something. I don't know. We're yet to find the right name in the dictionary for whatever is happening in Ghana. But I don't call that leadership. You know, I don't call that selected leadership. You know, if you want to be selected, be the people's people. Let the people understand you. Don't corrupt them. Don't bribe them. Don't buy them. Okay? Have a purpose for them to benefit from. Don't have a program that is full of promises that in the end they meet empty promises, and every time they're waiting for another one, like the best. I think these are the changes that we need in Ghana as a country. And I want to say that don't look at me as a wild child who is trying to, you know, step in front of the big boys. No, I'm a very respectful kid, but I have to tell it as it is, okay? And I want Ghanaians to understand that if somebody else was in my shoes now doing what I'm doing, I would support them, because real recognize real, and game do too.
Okay, all right. My quick final question, and Doreen will actually come in. You talked about having 12 ministers.
Yeah.
Going through your manifesto: trade, energy, finance, education, health, justice, agriculture, interior, foreign affairs, tourism, business, and employment, and then defense. With your experience in housing and real estate, one was thinking that you could have added housing to it, because we have serious housing deficits in this country, and housing challenges in here.
Yeah.
So how come we don't have it in here? So your experience.
So first of all, the deficit of our housing issues is 1.7 million. It's a very big issue.
Yeah.
It means that you have almost 10 million people homeless.
Yes.
If one family is to 3.
That's a big one.
Yeah, it's a big one.
Yes.
But what is the point of having a local housing ministry and paying about 400 people when you haven't actually created a platform, an integrated industrial platform that has created the jobs that can make the people afford for the housing if you were to build them? So people ask me, why don't you do low-income housing, this, that? Look, it's very expensive to create the basic infrastructure for a 1,000-acre project. You might spend 20 million without putting one building on the land before you start, right? Okay. And then if your target is to sell a house for $20,000 because there's low income, you probably need 20 million. So you need to start selling volumes of tens of thousands before you start to see profit. Now, if you haven't created the jobs for this nation that you are trying to build the local housing or low-cost housing for them, how are they going to pay for it? See, that's why we have thousands of homes sitting there and no one is using it, because they tell us that it's low-income housing, and then when they finish, $60,000. $60,000 is 1 million Ghana. Who is getting paid 5,000 cedis that can save money to pay 1 million cedis house? You see, these things don't work, the numbers. And that's why we want to take 88 of the existing non-functional ministerial platforms out. Because the first thing that is going to do for Ghana is that it's going to save Ghana money. That 88 ministries being shut down is going to save them money. It doesn't mean that in future we're not going to activate some of them. But when the time is right, today in our hospitals, okay, there's a system in Ghana. Pay before you leave. Don't pay, you die. That's what you go to the hospital for.
There's national health insurance.
Well, no, please, it does not work for the people, else they won't be dying. Okay, they go to the hospital. They ask you to pay first if it's emergency before they even look at you. When you go to anywhere in the world, okay, I don't know how they've worked or crafted their health insurance, but the human life matters first before they will find out how to get paid once your life is saved. In Ghana, it's the opposite. And why is that? I also think that it's because the hospitals know definitely if they don't take the money, you will not have the money to pay. Yes, because 90% of the country is broke. So even if I tell you that I'm going to build you hospitals, I'm lying to you. Because if I bring somebody to invest in the hospitals, in 3 years, he will bankrupt. Because he will have 10,000 people. 9,000 people will be dying and say, please save me. But they don't have the money.
So what will your health ministry do then?
Well, we said it all. We brought you a simple thing. We said that let's bring a SNIT revolution to turn the SNIT claims into a national corporate insurance for everyone that pays into that cost. They can reassess that money in the next 5 years, but it's also insurance. So whatever that claim is can be times 10. So let's say your SNIT now is 5,000 cedis. Your insurance claim can be 50,000 to 70,000 cedis. Now the average Ghanaian can use 25,000 of that to get the home for 2 years. Just rent. Okay? And then they can use that 20,000 to save themselves if they have to pay for their health when they get to the hospital so they don't die. They can also use the rest to support their children. Okay? Instead of leaving the same SNIT money with an institution for the government that they keep it for 40 years before they make you access it. Some people die, they don't even look for their children to give the claims of the SNIT to. So some of the things, they were supposed to be good in the past, but they're not functional right now in the modern world. We need to revamp and change some of these things to suit the modern culture that we live by.
Okay, let me hand over to Doreen now, and we'll pick some questions. Obviously, she has some questions too. Then we'll get more from our audience too. Yes, Doreen.
Judge, thank you so much. This is my favorite part of the conversation because I get to get some responses and reactions from the audience and also get you to answer their questions. So first I'll start with mine. We had just the special voting just yesterday. I'm sure you were monitoring and so you knew what happened. The reports of impersonations, reports of sharing of things that are not supposed to be shared, and other issues raised. I would want to find out from you what you think about the entire process yesterday. Please hold on to that. Let me get for some questions from my audience. Please.
I would like to answer your question first because what I don't
There's
want...
notebooks, just note them.
I know, but what I don't want is to have 7 questions.
We're having 3.
We are just having 3 questions.
We're having 3, so just note them. Okay. And then you move into
Just
10.
because
I don't want to become a teacher here. I'm
Definitely not. I will make you a teacher.
Okay. So just note that. Yeah. Okay. All right. So let's go. Yes, please.
Okay, thank you. It's good you don't want to be a teacher.
Their payment is not good. They can't survive. I would have loved to teach people, but the money is just not enough. They can't pay for their electricity.
But
bills,
Kwame Bediako is more than a
Wi-Fi,
teacher.
their children. And it's one of the things I would like to do for teachers, nurses, and service people of this country. Get halfway from people. If people are saying
Ghana network. Oh.
to teach our children to become presidents one day, then why do you undermine them and underpay them?
My question is on education.
Okay.
Oh.
Okay.
What?
Your name first, yes.
Okay, my name is Dr. Harriet, and in your election campaigns, and how will that influence teachers' decisions in general in the voting process? Thank you.
Okay.
Thank you for
All
the
right.
question. We'll take our last question for this round.
Thank you. You spoke about agri to feed the country. Currently, you can see that farmers are using the 19th century way of farming. What plans do you have for farmers in Bunguruyoyo or Sunyane who want to expand their farm? Because machines are very expensive now. What is your government going to do to help farmers to expand food production?
Can you tell us your name and where you're coming from?
Pius Romoti.
Okay, Pius, good. All right, so we have 3 questions. We'll start with that of Doreen, the special voting that ended yesterday, what you make of it, and various issues that came out of it.
Okay. So, I also thought that all of this nonsensical, our voting, our political future in whatever that is going on. So what I am doing is that I pray for this country. I pray for this nation. I actually just finished a Thanksgiving tour after my 276 constituency tour. And every church I went to sort of sow a seed in the church, asking them to pray for Ghana so we can have a peaceful election and to be able to move forward. I just want to say to you that the chaos is too much for anyone to try and fix that. I would advise any young person, any old person, to focus on how we can work towards a change than how to sit or stand and try to address problems. Addressing the problems is one, but finding solution for the problems that you are addressing is 2. So if you are going to now apply the solutions, it's 3. The question I'm asking myself is that, would I have the time to follow someone that has fed someone in the queue and someone that has caused some problem and some media saying this and what do I want to do? Do I go and judge them or ask them questions? Or I want to have a total concentration, focus on how to make a change. And I'm praying that all the theft and all the little political scams that happens in our polling stations and our ECs and everything, please God, tone it down this time. Ghana wants to go forward, okay?
So does it mean that you didn't have any of your members monitor the entire process? You had nobody representing you at the voting centers?
I did, my dear brother. Let me tell you something quickly about what you just said. So when I was young, 8 years old, I started a poultry farm that I didn't know I was starting a poultry farm. And it was a hen and a cock. And I was waiting for the eggs because my brother spent the money that we were supposed to give to my mother for eggs and bread, fried egg. So I decided to get my own eggs. But after I got the eggs, I realized that when they turn to chicken, it's better than keeping the eggs. So I changed my mind from
after program no ye be beautiful life atu na ya friend na ya so ya keke ya adwen e de afa enkomodi die ni abato on sansam a ekoso no
every day. And I just let them go. I didn't stop them. I didn't think somebody was going to steal it. I just thought that they were animals, and if they find a way to survive out there and they can come back home to the owner, perfect. So I let them go. And when they came back sometimes, they came back with new ones that had the same feathers like them, but they was rope tied on their leg. And I could tell that this one is not mine, but what is he doing here? I tried to suck, I said, go, but they don't go because I was feeding them. The point I'm trying to make is that sometimes in life, you just have to let things be. You know, we're all not God. We're just humans. Okay? We're trying to do our best, but we can't be perfect in everywhere, in every corner. And I'm not going to be perfect to sort out this country's problems in terms of our political agenda. There is so much propaganda. There is so much confusion, chaos, a lot of things. That's not what I'm here to solve. I'm here to solve a country's problem, why the citizen is not valued, and why the nation is not being developed, and why the country is not being built. That is my focus, and that is what I would spend my time on.
What you describe as chaos, what you describe as earlier you said nonsensical, all forms the basis of our democracy, which happens to be the foundation of the development that you want. So if you don't fix that foundation, how then can you have that structure?
I'm sorry, my brother, if you think that's the foundation of democracy, then I don't know if your democracy is probably a demonstration of something else. It could be straightness, craziness, many things. Because democracy now is demonstrating a lot of different things to us in Africa. When you come to Ghana, democracy is different. You go to Nigeria, it's completely different. You go to Kenya, they've messed our heads up with this democracy. Not to say that Africa did not have a solution for governance in the past 1,000 years. In fact, we were some of the world's greatest leaders. We were some of the people that built universities first in the world. We were some of the people that built pyramids. So our ancestors were very knowledgeable in terms of leadership. But we have exchanged our culture for the Western governance.
Okay.
And I don't see anything wrong with that. But please, if whatever democracy, have to suit that people.
Okay. All right. So, Dr. Annan, what role education is playing in your campaign, and what plans do you have for teachers?
Education is very important. And I want Africans to understand that we can't just base education on academia, theoretical stuff. Okay? I think that we lack a lot of knowledge about ourselves and what we have. If you're wearing the wig of the Western, you know, and they're talking about some judge or some lawyer from the Western's case to use it to judge someone. Meanwhile, someone went to steal a plantain and he got 20 years, and someone stole 10 million and he walked away. So, you know, a lot of things is turned upside, you know, and cultural education that makes you respect your country and the people. We cannot take people for granted. You know, just recently, I don't know, there was a spokesperson that got arrested, kept for 7 nights because they were a spokesperson. I just chose her for a spokesperson because everyone in Ghana was scared to speak for me. So I said, okay, fine. Let me bring a white person and speak for me, and I'll pay you. That's it. And the whole Ghana was, but they kept her for 7 nights. And that was a human rights infringement. And it was about politics. But that wasn't right. So we had to support and take the case out of Ghana, take it to ECOWAS. And they looked into it and realized that, no, Ghana, you're wrong. That was wrong. So they had to correct them. Now, my analysis here is supposed to educate everybody that why did they do what they did when they knew it was wrong? And if I didn't have to help to find out the truth of human rights, I wouldn't know that there are people in Ghana who are millions of people suffering. Like I say that we are educating people, and then we spend money 21 years to educate our children. Please, I like to call this investment. If you're spending money to pay fees and feed your child to go to school, don't think it's just a necessity. It's your investment. Your work that you're doing, that's where you put your money, okay? So if you do that, and after 21 years, your child or your son says, I can't get any job, it means your investment it's gone down. Or If you had spent 15 million Ghana in 21 years, which you will not realize anyway, but every time you will be paying 2,000 cities, 3,000 cities, like 15 years, it would amount to 15 million. And then your child finishes university, then he gets a job for 3,000 cities. The question that I want to ask you is that if you invest 50 million today and somebody says they're going to pay you 3,000 cities a month, would you agree? That's exactly what is happening to us. So there is a system and there is a gap in our educational system that needs to be bridged. So why is the government not mission with education? You have to learn about your cocoa seed. You have to learn about the governance. You can't just become a politician from nowhere and then straight away you say, I'm a Minister of Works and Housing and you've never built a house. You need to... You need to be part. We need to. That's the kind of education that we need. That's the kind of education that we need to give to our people. They need to understand that this gold is difficult to find. Now, God has put the gold in the ground. You need to wash the ground and dig and crack the mountains to find the gold. So he's not going to make it easy for you to just pick the gold up, pick the money. He's going to make it difficult for you. But once you find a solution to minimize that difficulty, you'll be gaining wealth. And that can be transcended onto generations. That's the kind of education we need for our country.
Okay. So what plans do you have for teachers?
What teachers?
Where's the second part?
And I said it already. I just think that not just teachers, all the service industry in this country. Treated badly. Now, if you have 5 children and he's taking them to school, he's educating them. This guy has to take transport, right, to work every day. Your petrol is 2,000 cedis to fill the tank. He's already taken half of his salary. Now, when you finish, you say that to give you 33 liters of water, you pay 3 cedis. This guy is going to use 1,300 liters of water for him and his family. So at the end of the month, he's looking at 700 to 800 or maybe 400 of water bill. Same thing with 17 pesos for a kilowatt. So by the time we're stripping values out of the citizens. This policeman, if he spends all his funds, he knows the money is spent before he receives it. It's gone. He's in the minus when he receives the money. This policeman, if he stops you and you give him pure water as bribe, he'll take. He will just say, you know what, I will take the water because maybe today I might not have money to buy water. But if you go to England, a policeman
next week.
There's a system. He gets £4,000. He can take a part to pay every month his mortgage. So he's bought a house. He can take a part of that money to pay for the car. And his children have a bit of some sort of free education and some loan to back them. So that is not a huge problem for him. He's surviving. This guy has committed himself to paying for a house, paying for a car, taking care of his wife, and taking care of his children. That 4,000, he's multiplied the 4,000 to 30 years. People is bribe, he's gonna say, no, it's more than his monthly salary, but he's looking at 30 years and the benefits. So he doesn't want to lose that dignity. Humans that dwell on our soil, the soil will not prevail its blessing. Every country that is successful, they cater for them. You go to Dubai, you see the people wearing white stuff with the thing and they're walking around. They've never even put one block on another block. But look, all the skyscrapers are there. They've educated them, they're monitoring their investment, they're investing, they're developing, and they're hiring people to do the work for them. That's what we should do in Ghana. What you that I will give you free education. Okay. But please, do not dare give that promise if you can't afford it. Because Ghana is broke. And the teachers have to be paid. And the kids need to be fed. So we are not able to afford the free education to its full limit. And that has changed the curriculum of our educational system. Now, from afar, I'm studying everything. Just 6 years ago, the youth of this country used to spend at least 8.5 months in the entire semesters that forms a year. Okay? So they have 2 weeks vacation, 1 month, and almost 3 months. Yeah. So that gives you 8.5 months. Right now, the youth of this country can only do between 5.5 months to 6 months. So they're losing 2 months or 2.5 months every year of education. You might see it lightly, but in 10 years, it amounts to 2.5 years of their life of learning something. That's what we're going to see very soon, is that you're going to see someone who says, I finished Legon. And then when they're speaking, you ask yourself, is it Legon Primary School or Legon? Because you see, they lack something. So I'm seeing this as a problem already that is coming. And it's going to grow. So how let me answer you. Okay. Relax. Even though spark a fire, start something, the change comes, and it's a ripple effect, because there's some young person in there who is going to believe in this movement, in this agenda, in this change, and then they come also as a force. They come, and eventually the problem will be getting fixed. No problem. All the problems in this world cannot be fixed. That's how God built the world. He built the world with problems. So whoever that has the common sense and knowledge to fix the problem, they make them successful. And the ones that they don't want to, they suffer. And the problems are always going to be there. But I'm here to start solving the problems instead of adding more problems to the existing problems.
Okay, let's talk about agri here. Pius wants to find out what your plans are for agri mechanization.
Oh, definitely. Look, the world began with agriculture before industrialization and then technology. So in the days of Abraham, they were doing cattle farms, and they just had to nurture the sheep and cows, and they extract the milk, and that's how they started to industrialize the world. So agric is the farming aspect. The culture is the processing aspect. Ghana is only doing agric without the culture. Yes, because you plant the seed, you water it, all of that is agric. The culture is once now you've harvested it, what are you going to do with it? You see, if you don't process it, you can't preserve it. You need to process it and preserve it in order to get reserves out of it, and that's a culture. That process can create 10 jobs, because you have a lot of factories creating jobs, and people will learn that an orange is not just to be eaten, but it can become a juice, and the skin of the orange can become a tablet, it can become this, it can become that, and so many things. Civilization. I have to first of all purify all your waters again and irrigate all your grounds again. So you don't wait for April or June for God to rain water to come down before your pepper will grow. Yeah, you wake up in the morning, the pepper is already watered. And then you add fertilizers that you created yourself. That suits your soil very well. So things that would take 3 months to grow, you can push it to 1 month. The world is doing it. I'm telling all of you that today some of the chicken that we're eating, within 72 hours, they've grown already. How do you think that the world is eating 1 billion chicken a day? 1 billion, that's the demand of the world. We're 7.2 billion. And every day people, yes. So how do you think the chicken are growing so fast to feed people 1 billion times a day? It's industrial. They've industrialized, the farming, and so it's growing very fast. And I want to do that. First of all, I want you to have a seedling bank, so you start to protect your seed. If you don't protect that seed that God gave you, somebody's going to come and take it from you. But that's one thing. Ghana doesn't have it. But we have to have a lab. Our cocoa should be there, and we should protect it. It should not go out. Today, Chinese have taken it, and they are forming it. They are cloning it. Very soon, they will supply the world with cocoa, and we, the founders of cocoa, we don't have it. We, the founders of gold, we don't have it. This is what is happening until we take leadership, and that's why our fathers need to give us the chance to help them. Okay? They're tired, so maybe they need the young blood to help them. We're not saying that go away for good. We're saying that, okay, listen, you can still be around. You can advise us about whatever experience that you've had, advice. But when it comes to standing in the sun and checking and making sure things are being done, you need fresh blood.
Okay.
You need young people to do that.
Thank you. Lori, let's do the next set of questions.
We'll take this question from Clement Hammond, National Secretary, Ghana National Association of the Deaf. He says he wants to know what you will do to implement the Disability Act of 2006, which has not been fully complied with by previous administrations. So let's take some more questions. We have some people here who have some questions, and then, so please go ahead. Ahead.
Yes, please. In the disability sector. Now, I want to know in your 12 pillars whether there's any strategy for persons with disability, since we are talking about adding value. And you and I know that today we are no more in the welfare system of disability, but we are looking at it from right and developmental level. Our founding father, Dr. Nkrumah, made a rehabilitation center for persons with disability. Today, when you go there, it is nothing to write home about. So I want to know what is your view about persons with disability and what do you have for us? Thank you.
Thank you so much. We'll take one more question on disability and then.
Please move on. Bring districts common fund was meant to help the disabled in their businesses. But for so many years now, many has not benefited from this. So my question is, what differently will you do when you become the president to ensure that we, the disabled, benefit from this fund? Thank you.
Thank you so much for that question. So please go ahead and respond to these questions.
There's Clement, there's Razak, and then there's Victoria. So first of all, Clement wants to find out the implementation of the Disability Act, what you're going to do about it.
So, first of all, Clement and Razak, I think I'll answer their questions together.
Okay, yeah.
Razak, I know you can't see me, but you can feel me. On your left, if you touch that man there, you will feel him. His name is Brown, and he's actually one of my best friends.
Okay, Brown.
He's right here. Brown, what's my name? Brown Weezy. So, I want to say that I didn't have to wait to become a president before I thought about the disability industry.
Wow.
I already started 10 years ago. Brown is my friend, and Brown will tell you my investment was not just making sure that he had a shelter. The story between me and Brown is that I met him. And then when I was leaving, I asked him for his number. I wanted him to be my friend. And he told me that, you give me your number. He was holding a phone. So I thought I had to take his phone to put my number. But Brown he surprised me. He started typing the number into his phone. And from that time, Brown has been my friend. He comes to my house. I spend Christmas with him. And every time he comes to my house, I have to confess this today, Brown. Sometimes I sneak to the back door and went to the taxi and asked the taxi driver, how did the guy in the car show you how to get to my house? The point I'm trying to make is that we have intelligent people in this country. And we just think that they should only come from able people. That's not equality. It's not fair. And I'm a fair person. I live on fairness, firmness, courage. And these core principles, I don't change it for anything. So Brown is my witness that I wanted to know what he had to do. He said he wanted to be a journalist. So it's not like I'm telling my story without the person being present. He's right there. I invested in his education so that he can become a journalist. And he did become a journalist. Aside from that, Brown has a friend who is also my friend, and he's called One Leg. This is a guy that just used to park my cars. He thought he was just doing favors for me because he's parking my cars. But that was so much for me that someone that is not able was doing something and selling bangles on this. He was trying to survive. So I was planning for him. And I realized that he had so much strength in his hands. So I designed a tricycle for him. And I gave him the tricycle on the conditions that I was going to build an industry in the disability world. The conditions were that he has to become an Uber. We tried to apply for Uber. They did not agree with him. So
because of his disability,
they just said that they was not going to do it. I don't want to say that, but they did not. And so I found another solution. And at that time, it was Yango that helped. I think this is many years ago, before we even found out about it. And my deal.
Yeah, Lydia, Nana Kwame Bediako is one of the greatest we can ever have in Ghana.
One of this. I'll buy you the third one.
Yeah, I can say Ghana for Uncle Sammy. I bet you I say now on my cherish.
Anyone who is able, you have to employ only people who are disabled. He did. And when he did that, I was proud of him. He bought a second one. I bought him a third one.
I wish you after the program, no, your best friend now. This now so you have to tell you whenever near Futunia idea the Bemayo.
And built a house for his mother. He has business. He's added value to people's lives. So Ghana, this is who I am. I'm a philanthropist, a humanitarian philanthropist. And I've been like this. I would be very experienced at what I do. And so, to use this opportunity to answer the third question, that 3%
common fund,
I might just have to increase it to 5% and make sure that all of you have a space with us. We have to be treated the same. Our second core principle for New Force is equality, equal treatment, men and women. Men should not get the best jobs because and women should know. We have to give room for women's potential to come out as well, because we don't know what they can bring. These are the same women that gave birth to us. But when it comes to what they can bring. These are the same women that gave birth to us. But when it comes to business and work, they were trying to undermine them. We need to bring that equality into our system of governance, because we will realize that if we gave women the chance 30 years ago, Ghana probably could have been better than it is today. And that's fairness, equality, and justice bring real freedom. So I would increase that, and I know that I am introducing industrialization. The part of industrialization which is going to be technology hub, the best employees for technology are disabled. Because the job is to sit. The job is to sit for 8 hours, 10 hours. The able people cannot even do it. Like the disabled people, they will do it. They will sit there, you teach them about computer, they will do all the work. The same disabled people used to sit 12 hours in our toll booth. We close audience, I'm watching them. And I said, where's the disabled path? Where they're going to push their, they all forget it. Some of them, I don't want to mention names, but if they go to, governmental institutions. Ghana should be one nation. It should be one country. It should be one people. Ghana should not be biased by parties, by tribes, by genders. Ghana should be a country that is ready to cater for the people, all the people, including, to others, the crazy people who we're seeing on the road. Almost every 2 miles, I see one crazy person. I can tell you that in 5 years, out of every 5, one will be crazy, and we'll be working together if we don't solve it. Okay. Yes, we need to build their homes. We need to consider to find a shelter for them, and to find some of them can be revived.
They're referring to mentally challenged people.
Oh yes, okay. I'm just saying that we don't care as a country, and that's the point I'm making.
Okay, let's go for a quick break. When we return, we'll continue with our questions. Stay with us, we'll be right back.
I recording Aquawa. The Free Trade and Consultant Society cool my Aqua on the 7th December. The Electoral at the Aman and Kwame Bediako, and yes, I there. You won't reason to anybody and to a doing way, but now, yes, it that, yes, na yada so di NDP NDC
Too soon, Ghana is ready for an all-important national exercise, Election 2024.
To bring you live discussions, live coverage on the elections, and
updates. After the program, no, the number of people na ya friend na, ya say you who cry near foot to ahodo a, the ebema yo. Nti mo nse na mo invite abo for na, amaka abusia kuwo no ho.
Analysis of the voting pattern in your constituency, swing constituencies, strongholds, and devout banks. You will want to stay with GBC News throughout the entire election.
We put accuracy before speed. So, for reliable, dependable, verified, and uncontestable results, your best bet is GBC News. I am Cyril Furi.
I am Gloria Anderson.
I am George Sapo.
I am Thelma Taki.
I am Maurice Kupeti.
I am Doreen Ampofu.
Election 2024. Ghana wins.
Presidential encounter we measure Kofi Akparo ni some other candidates no presentation on the bar including Baumia and Mama and Nyakwan Obiade And according to the post, Nana Kwame Bediako, the 11th presidential among an encounter was our program.
My name is George Sapo, and we're talking to Nana Kwame Bediako, who wants to be president, and he is our guest this evening on our presidential encounter. Before we went for the break, we're taking some questions. We'll continue with the questions from our audience here in the studio. Doreen, I'll hand over back to you.
Please go ahead.
I am saying from Youth in Natural Resources and Environmental Governance. We have all seen the effects of industrialization on our environment. I would like to know how you plan to go about industrializing the country in an environmentally friendly way.
Thank you.
Thank you so much. So we'll take a question from our mother from the market.
That's okay.
My name is Nade Anokwafo the First, Adabranca Market Queen, from Greater Accra Market Association. Please, what is your plans for the elderly men, women, children on the streets nationwide, begging for their daily bread, the single parents, and especially the Ghanaian market women? Thank you.
Thank you so much for that question.
Okay, my name is Michael Abwaji, and I want to ask a question on sports. So I want to know one key thing you have on your heart for sports that you want to change, and your plan for the sports ministry in general. Thank you.
Okay.
So that's
All right.
a good question.
So I say industrialization and also having that within a safe environment. We know usually the challenge with industrialization is how it affects the environment too. So what's your plan in there?
Well, I first of all want to say that as a country, as much as we don't respect our citizens, we also don't respect the environment. The minute we start to respect the citizens, we start to respect the environment, because you will see that the humans dwell on the land. So today, our water, people throw rubbish in it, or they mine and destroy it with poison, and no one can tell them anything. But in the government system, they have EPA, they have a lot of things. One of the things that I saw with EPA, and I will say it now because I think they're deviating, is that they gave me a license for the development, and now I have to pay for the license every year. If you are the one that gives permits for the environment, then why have you left the actual reserves that has all the gold in there to be invaded? Why are foreigners having the best part of our land, and the institution is demanding every little thing they can from the citizens, knowing that we don't have much? So one of the things that I'm going to do straight away is that I am first of all going to say, hey, this blockchain that I've built, and give me all the information or data for how many people graduated this year, and which ones had high Q, low Q, everything I know. It will be on the blockchain. You can't change it again. It will be there. And then the law will now tell that specialist that is controlling our environment, they will to eat from it and create wealth from it. So that is one thing that we need to demand first. Instead of saying, oh, I'm going to do this, no. Sanitation, all of this is just not working for us. Because we need to understand that the value of that will create us billions of dollars, and one you cannot negotiate. Once we start to implement it, every leader have to follow it. And one of them was to create the biggest eco park in Africa. This is going to be the biggest tourism for our country. It can attract the whole Africa. The land is there. It's sitting right in the middle of Achimota Forest, which can become our safari, our hotel cities, our water parks, and one place in Ghana that somebody would like to come from Dubai or America and say, I am going for water sports. I am going for safari to I am going to visit zoos and museums. And we're not investors. In fact, we're destroying the environment, and we're also selling the portion of the environment, which is the land. And we're not even selling it to the locals. We're actually selling it to foreigners, meaning that sooner than later, our country protect the water bodies. For us to purify all these water bodies that have been destroyed without the environmental specialists making sure that they were protected is going to cost us as a country $4.5 billion. The good thing behind it is that we can get the money times almost 8 with that investment. But the money that they got out of destroying all the water doesn't come to 12% of the money that is going to take you to fix it. So this is the problem, my dear sister. If we, as young people who care about society, nations, countries, our environment, if they don't allow us to help the country that we're from, that we care for,
yes, on the 7th December, there, never to about the man and Kwame Bediako.
how are we going to do all of these things?
So, the dreams in the France and Ankasana, great, I possibly in here.
It takes a
Like
disciplined leader.
I'm betting me and in the park at the afternoon, so yeah, we shall
Now talks about a couple of things actually. What plans you have for the aged who are on the streets, single parents, and then market women.
Well, I think
we can start.
Yeah, I think market women literally feed us in this country. Because everywhere I went within Ghana, out of the 276 constituencies, the biggest businesses that were there were markets. And the very interesting thing I found out about women, and I would like us to give a round of applause for women. You know, they're more hardworking than we think. Because I saw women who have worked in the market to educate their children. And the children have graduated, but they're still staying in the house. Their husband have lost their job, and they're staying in the same house. And the woman is still sitting under the sun, working hard to feed the family. So Ghana, we do two things very good. We either trade or we eat. So we take the yam from the ground and we sell it straight and we eat. Even when we kill the cow and we eat the meat, the skin also, which is the thing that we can turn to leather and make chairs with it, we also eat that too, will it?
Willie.
So, you know, I think that I think that we should try and empower women by adding manufacturing, processing into what you're doing. Because if the woman is feeding us, she should be partly responsible to be the one that puts the seed in the ground, harness it, pull it out, and go through the culture process, and use that to create jobs for their children as well. And that's something I want to do for the entire country. So women start to become entrepreneurs, business women, and not just considered as wives or market women. There is more that women should do and can do.
Okay.
That we're restricting them.
All right, that's single parents.
People on the streets are single parents, and I was raised by a single mother. Okay, and Obata and Nimi and Babidi. At this point, I won't be speaking of promising any single mother that I will make sure that you get money so you look after your children. No. They need to understand that they need to survive, and they need to work. They need to find a job, and they need to educate their child from home, not only from school. And that is something that we should make sure we encourage the women who have been let down by men, because we have to remember that they have broken. And therefore, we need to uplift their spirit, which is something I'm not seeing in the country. When a child gets pregnant and they don't have a husband, they're disowned. 2024. You disown a woman because they're going to have another seed, another child. No, that doesn't happen anywhere. If they didn't get a husband, that child could be the next Ronaldo. We need to respect all of this and bring it together first. But as for them surviving, we already know, because they can even feed their child. It's like a lion or a tiger with a baby. No matter what, they'll find a way to feed their children. So I think that these women are strong. We just need to.
Alibaba.com is your one-stop B2B purchasing platform that lets you source efficiently at great prices.
Need to find a way to empower them more. Now the homeless and the people on the street, it's not just them, because now they mess with also the people who are not able to do things. So sometimes you don't know, because the guy that is disabled is selling something, and the one that is able is begging. So you ask yourself, okay, which one do I do?
Usually help first.
Okay, and that is very messed up, because we haven't drawn a plan and a system to harness these people and support them. I think that all of this normally come from the taxpayers' money, which is the national cost, to use it to build a country. Okay, and that money is what is going to the foreign world. Because we work and pay taxes. The people who have jobs are only 3 million. If there were 10 million, our taxes would be times 5 what it is. Our taxes would be more to even build more universities, schools, and roads and everything, instead of going to borrow the money. But we don't have the job, and we can't create anything for them. I intend to take that problem from the nation. Unemployment is a serious problem. It affects your economy. Once you create more jobs, your taxes will increase, and you have to have more plans for all these people.
Micah wants to know what you have for sports.
Our sports. Wow. I am actually not someone that watches football and other things. And I have a lot of friends who are footballers. In fact, super stars. But some of you know that I bought some of my cars from Ronaldo, and I've had friends, Memphis, and a lot of different people that have come to visit me in Ghana. I think that, first of all, if you spend 2 hours watching football almost every 2 days, in a year, you would have spent 1,000 hours of your time, or 500 hours of your time, watching football, that somebody is getting paid $500,000 a week, but you watch them for free and pay your hours into it. Okay? And I don't think that's a good investment, because your time is your most important asset. And you have to use it sensibly. But what I would do for sports, which I think we're lacking, that will stop people from just watching and not being a part of the industry, is to start to infuse sports right into our educational system by partnering with people who are specialized on that. Because we Ghanaians, we become footballers by vision, not by skills or training. And they need to be trained and coached. You need to go through a disciplinary process to become educating yourself and learning about economics and other things, and then being trained about what to eat, how to behave yourself, how to discipline yourself, not to eat some things, not how to protect your leg and all of that. We don't have it in our schools. Yeah, they give us PE, and then we're playing football, and on the ground where there's stone there, and they haven't even created the AstroTurf. You know, they don't have the drains, the things. You know, you need to build these people. So what is happening is that somebody will come and form like an academy and call it Dream something, and what is it called? Right to Dream. And then when you have your right to dream now, you have to go through someone's country in Holland before they sell you. So you're just like a Polish slave. You know, he polishes you, and then he sends you to Holland before they will give him a price, and they will give you a portion of it. When we can actually have academies that we will breed a lot of footballers and sell them to the world for millions of dollars, and most of the money will circulate in our system, and they would also feel like they're more entitled to where they got their skills from, where they got their breakthrough from. So they're going to stay true to the country. I would rather do that. I would rather have a combined academy with a school together, so you can breed them properly. And that's what I want to do. And after that, We can go and buy some Chelseas and Manchesters just like the Arabs are doing, just to make our country stronger.
Okay, all right. Dori, let's go to the next question. Yes.
So there's this question from Melissa. She says Ghana's import duties are significantly higher than those of neighboring countries like Togo, which puts our local businesses at a disadvantage and raises the cost of goods for citizens. Now she wants to know, if you were voted into power, what specific strategies or policies would you implement to address this disparity and make Ghana a more competitive trade hub?
Okay.
So we'll take one question from Papa over there, and then one here, and then the last one on this side.
All right, my name is Parker. I'm a sports journalist with the Ghana Broadcasting Corporation. I still want to dwell on sports. Listen to your response. I feel your number 12 is certainly not going to affect our sports. But I want to find out from you, being given the nod, would you want to still stick to the idea of the Black Stars or the GFA drawing from the national kitty, but not being accountable to the government? Thank you.
Okay.
Papa, question on this side.
Drawing from the national kitty, but not being accountable to the government. Thank you.
Okay.
Papa, one question on this side.
All right, so my name is Hansen. I want to ask the presidential candidate one question about entertainment. So I want to know, in this country that we are, we don't value our entertainers, most especially our film actors and all that. Looking at Nigeria, the film industry is booming and all that because the government has some support they give to the Actors Guild and all that. I want to know, when you are voted into power, what is your plan for the Ghana's Actors Guild or actors or the entertainers in this country?
Okay, thank you for that. We'll take
Okay.
I'll be glad to know where you are from and whether you can speak any of the Ghanaian languages well. And the word is well. Now my question, will you truly the medium of instruction, teaching and learning in our schools? Thank you.
Thank you for that question.
Okay, we're done, right?
Yes, we are done.
Good. So let's start with that of the question on import duties. Ghana has the highest, and how can you actually work on it to make it very competitive within the industry?
So first of all, I don't think that the increment of our duties is because the world is changing and that is causing that increment. I think that the government has just realized that everybody goes out there to import something. So he's just waiting by his border, which is the port. And when you come, he will hammer you. You take the money, and then you sell whatever you want to sell. By the time you make your profits, there is inflation or depreciation, and it catches up with you. So you might have to borrow money just like how he borrows money and wastes it. You borrow money again to go and buy the things from outside, and when you come back, they will hit you again with the import taxes. Now the sad thing is, most of these taxes, it's not actually even the government that is doing it, because the government has sold most part of our harbor system, the port system, to foreigners. So we're living in a country that the guy takes your gold, takes your raw materials, he goes there and just puts it in a factory, which is industrialization. He manufactures it, he goes through the process that I'm telling you. Then you go and buy it. The same thing that you have here. You go there and buy it. You come back and pay taxes to your government and sell it. So I want Ghana to get a clearer picture of how we're going in circles and wasting our lives, thinking that we're even doing business and we're looking for a future to be successful. Like I said, one of the things that I want to introduce in Ghana in our educational system is the thinking process. We need to think. So it's just a thinking subject. Sit down, think. Just let your brain work, please. And some people call it meditation. Just think. Because sometimes for me, and I always use the words thinkative, I like to be a thinkative than a talkative. Now, although I'm saying a lot now, it's because I have thought more than I am saying. So I have my facts. And the words that I'm sharing with you is coming from pure knowledge, wisdom, understanding. And I'm using courage to deliver it to you. Okay. So I'm thinking, okay, I really think that until we start industrialization in this country and manufacture the same things that we're going out there to buy, we should expect the taxes to keep going higher. Because there is Uncle Sam there, and there is the government there, and the two of them, they will forever attack you if you go out there to buy the things and bring it in here. It's still going to go up. And everything in this country will keep going up. Okay. Because, sorry, I want to say this. We have oil. Ghana drills, we extract 200 and something thousand barrels a day. In a year, it's millions of barrels. When you refine it, it comes billions of liters. We actually give the well to outsiders, let them extract the raw oil, take it outside to refine it, and then we go and buy the refined oil, bring it, and then we say to you that now to fill your tank is 1,500, but your salary is 2,000. Okay? This common sense is a big problem because until we have our own refineries and we give chances to the people in the country, the private sector, to build these oil refineries and start to refine and explore and manufacture our own goods, we're always going to pay premium prices. Okay. For what we have.
And to Parker about the GFA, whether you subscribe to the idea that the GFA is not accountable to the government, although the government spends a lot on the GFA.
I think the GFA is probably adopting the habits of the Lands Commission. You know, they're becoming partially corrupt when they're supposed to support Black Stars to become a global respected team. First of all, there's too much politics going on in there. Too much politics. You have to pay money before you even get selected. You have to do this, you have to do that. Get the player on the pitch. His brain is in his foot. Let him use it. Don't restrict him. That's the first problem. Secondly, I don't think they're looking at the strategy of other football associations like FIFA. But FIFA make most of their money from broadcasting. That's what makes them powerful. So they manage not just for people to play football, but they build relationship with all television channels around the world. And every channel is demanding, okay, European this, okay, this, that, okay, then they restrict China, they restrict this, that. So they've created business and built the industry. Ghana, our GFA is just waiting for a budget and a match. And they carry the people, they go and play, they either win or they lose, they come back, somebody's going to pay for it. There is no business coming out of the GFA. It's only budget. And if there is, let me know. Because if one player in Ghana is known all over Africa, their sponsorship alone can be $100 million a year if they're known all over Africa. Just the t-shirts they're buying and all of that. We don't create all of this. So there's no business in the GFA. And that's what I'm saying. Most of our institutions are just for spending. And you just have too much politics around it. The Minister of Sports is probably, no, you can't take this one. You have to take my wife, cousin, and the guy can't even play football. They're going to push them there. We need to restrict ourselves from all of that. If it's GFA, let the GFA play their role and let the government support them. Let the private sector do business with them so they can explore.
So government shouldn't interfere in what GFA does?
Well, you see, government should be an overall supporter in terms of our judiciary system, legislation, executive arm, everything. Okay, there are rules there. So that's what we need a government for. And they can endorse it. But they shouldn't be doing the business. Every country that you find a government doing business, you have to be careful of that country. You know, they should not be doing the business. They should make sure that there is human development and there is national development. Coming from taxes, coming from other investment, and they should support the private sector of the country to grow the country, to build the country.
Great. Hansen wants to find out what you have for entertainment, focusing on actors.
Well, I think Ghana have some great entertainers. And one of my favorite entertainers of all time was a man called Super Odi. Now, when I was 8 years old, they entertained us for 2 to 3 decades.
Super Odi.
They had some soap opera or
one name Super Odi.
Sofodazi.
Interesting thing. And I didn't see Super Odi for a while. And one day, I was reading this paper and I saw a small circle with a passport picture in it saying Super Odi is dead. And then in front of the paper, I think the paper was called PMP. In front of the paper was one musician that was up and coming that they had given that front page to. So I asked myself, this man spent 30 years of his life entertaining the nation. And when he died, he's not even respected and honored for what he did. That day, I didn't only lose respect for that paper. In fact, I expected the paper not to go ahead and be successful because I thought they were very biased. You know, yes, you need to respect the dead, especially when they've contributed to society. But if they didn't, there was no value. Then I compare Super Odi to someone like Mr. B, who is almost a billionaire, and he's also a comedian. The guy hasn't even spoken. He just used his face to make expressions. But he's a legend for them. They harnessed him, they protect him. The point I'm trying to make is that the value for our entertainers from the governmental sector, there's no protection. There's no added value. It's just a skill that has a lifespan that can just die out in 5 years or 10 years. And if it dies out and you were not able to make some money to last you for the next 5 years, you might as well consider yourself dead. So I would like to, first of all, create a protection, a system that protects your royalties. So today, from what I'm saying, and I'm sad about it, because Super Odi's son should be getting his royalties. He should know that my father did this, and that should inspire him. But we haven't protected these things. It's gone away. I can say right now, most musicians in this country, they think I don't know. But they have sold their portfolios. They sold it for $50,000, and it's because of struggles. They're stressed. There's no protection. There's nothing.
After this fufu and pepper soup, I will score goals like the leaders boys.
Which Ghanaian language do you speak very well? Emphasis on the word well.
Before say, so you me oh yeah. No one knows yeah. Obi amumobo. And sachi dey so kaso ne koto. Ebe ko America etese kai so mumie ni na omuti e show mu yam. So atema me pese be catch on say. Asama pese be catch on say be your mind back. Na muntumi mpume muntumi kuna enkune mu try some go kuma ni ma say ni mo no yengu na say mu try some best stop me. I'm unstoppable. Freedom, you can't stop freedom. I'm free. So Ghana should get ready to embrace a new force. I want to say that a lot of people might say that why don't we speak our language now to do something about our education and all of that. You know what? It's a great idea. I could be wrong, and I stand to be corrected. But I am looking at it from a different angle. Someone has come, they've used Bible to educate us in a very spiritual and religious way. They've used grammar to make us all speak their language. Now, if we decide to go and pick one of our languages, we'll realize that 30% or 50% of the country will not understand us. If we want to make it a national language, we would be restricting 50% of the nation not to understand us. So I think that this is an opportunity. Now, as much as they have separated us, I think that whatever that brought us together should be stronger than what can pull us apart. And it should not be the language. So we should use the language to send a message that everybody can understand. That's an opportunity for me. We should use that same language they taught us to get back our power, to take our wealth, our wealth of value that is heritage. We have to. And if you're going to do the same thing with French-speaking countries, you also need to take the language and use it nationally. One day, could be divided into two that is coming together. A French person and an English person who would have realized the games and the tricks of the imperialists that have used foreign influence to undermine the capacity and the ability that they're entitled to by speaking their own language to send a message ahead of time and understanding each other, trading amongst ourselves. I think this is going to bring unity more than anything, because we wake up every day and we go and buy something from someone. And when we try to buy that something from someone, we find a way to communicate with them. So we realize that spending, investing is what is actually bringing us together. As for the separation, it's happening already. Ghana has 16 regions, but maybe 100 dialects going, and it's very difficult to translate them together. So I want to bring this industrial trading manufacturing aspect up in the waters of Ghana, connect them, let it hit the coast. That's what I meant by I'm bringing the sea to Kumasi, because the water is already there. Pra is into the sea and it's in Kumasi. So I just have to industrialize by dredging the water, and that's it. It's connected to Kumasi. Now Kumasi is no more a landlocked region. You can now use the water. Once we enter the sea, we can now start trading with Ivory Coast, with Togo. Borderless continent is free to cross any border. Right now, it's not free. That road was built by your imperialist, but he structured you to pay money just to cross. You're going to your own neighboring country, on your own continent. You have to pay to cross. And when you're going to South Africa, you have to queue for visa. But when you get there, you will see people who are from Europe, America, visa free. And it's an African country, but people are coming from outside and they're treated differently. So we need to use our language not only in our educational services, but we also need to use it continentally and create an impact.
All right, thank you very much. Let's put our hands together for our guests. I think we end it here, and thank you very much for your time this evening.
Thank you, George.
Wish you all the best. So finally, your final words to our viewers and our listeners. You just have a minute to do that, so we can wrap it up. Yes.
Well, I'd like to say that I probably won't be saying what I'm saying today. I probably won't be this man that I am today if it wasn't for the sake of the people of this nation, where I came from. I did not acquire my wealth just by working hard. but also seeing the struggles of people, which motivated me to do what I do. Today, I'm not motivated to just do what I do for myself anymore. I am motivated because I've realized after traveling around 276 constituencies of this country, about 1,240 something communities, and realized the level of poverty in this country. Now I know I have some work to do, because socially I'm responsible to make sure that the history of us reviving and redeeming our nation and building our country again, I get to be a part of it. Not only do I believe that I should be a president before I do it, but I've already started. I'm already doing water for people who have been in the political world for 24 years, but they could not give water to the people in their constituency to drink. And I've realized that it's our social responsibility. I would like to encourage Ghanaians that it's not about us just waiting for the government to come and do something for us. You can do something for your country. You can take a decision today to change this country, and it will change the life of your children. It will change the life of your great-grandchildren. I'm urging Ghanaians that coming this year, we should take the decision of changing our country and not make a choice of choosing a party. For the development of this country will never be based on a party. It will be based on someone that understands that they have to develop their country and their nation. Thank you very much, and I'd like you to vote wisely. And I also want to ask Ghana that we're a peaceful country, and we should make sure that this election is scheduled and handled peacefully. God bless Ghana. God bless the people of Ghana.
Thank you very much. So that's it for today's edition of GBC's Presidential Encounter, and it's been good having you around. Enjoy the rest of our programs. Have a good evening. Keep your eye on our social media platforms. We'll get to know who is appearing next. On behalf of the entire production team, have a good evening. We'll see you when we see you. Bye-bye.
All right, Obisha. Yeah, incoming president Nana Kwame Bediako, and a call for a presidential encounter, and wow, to me say yes, differences and kasa akwenya no wo say e bia be person obe friend na nkomo aye die obekere wadwen afa ho anasa abato aye kwakoto on the 7th December no wo wadwen kire bia obetumi e de afa e de aba obe friend number we say opa obetumi afre street call anasa WhatsApp call 054 330 4976. Na yenim say country code no aye +233, then way 0 nefris nari 54 330 4976 054 330 4976. Nti also obetumi afre na wo adwenkyere bia na wachere ede afa abato ene nkomo Nana Kwame Bediako ediye no wo bibia obetumi ede aba. And a chance no, I think say ebia after this program no matter na ne oye no so no ye de ne twi version e de aba ye babo ya homo say ye be ye no in a twi form na ama ye mu bia ye bro for no nshada no enko yie no na ye nya the clear view of nkomo twetwen a e course so e wo ho no mu tuntu betumi afre quick 054 330 4976 054 330 4976 and I say +233 54 330 4976. Let me connect this one now.
Kwame Bediako, Ghana for Mutobano man, a new boss. Ghana for Mutobano man, Sada. no my sister can a shopper my na ye bre kana kwa mutu abanu ma Kwame Bediako kana kwa mutu abanu ma new boss kana kwa mutu abanu ma shada no my sister can a shopper my na ye bre amagana onyakupa mama brokra amagane onyakupa mama tege bebre o mama japa je bebre se me famo me bra nanso ye frisru beti bayira wo mama no ama bayira ba kese bra oh monrai amanyo kro brokro mi enu bi wo mayimu Omadi minyasa, watamanisa, amama prawa say, amaura wakamyo. Enu timi nyodi fwo, wajibwa de weni, Kwame Bediako, rabejimyo, Kwame, rabejimyo, the new boss, rabejimyo, sada. This is some problem, you. Na me bre. Amagana, onyakupa mama propra. Amagane, onyakupa mama tege bebre. O mami diamond, o mami timber, o mami gold, o mami bauxite. Africa, all the oil so I come home. I'm so still, me bre. Oh. Obi majim yo, what you want new money, only Kwame Bediako. The new boss, rabejim yo, this is some problem, mam yo, na me pre. Kana kwa mutu abanu Kwame Bediako, kana kwa mutu abanu the new boss, kana kwa mutu abanu sada. Oh, my sister can a shepherd my na ye bre. Kana kwa mutu abanu Kwame Bediako. Kana kwa mutu abanu the new boss. Kana kwa mutu abanu shada. No, my sister can a shepherd my Samutu abanu manua, Kwame Bediako, Oba Bediako amaye, under number 12 pillars for economic freedom. Rantebe tumaye, Emaba wansu benye tumaye, Kwame Bediako yo babunu. Eluti oba mama guru nyina oba mpen ko nyina oda no patrol Zawuka ko to abanua you when you are number 12 ambe ya kuna dawe oja tuma baba mumanya biaye sika baba mumanya biaye shebufoto oja tuma baba sika baba oja tuma baba mumanya biaye sika baba mumanya biaye shebufoto tuma baba mumanya biaye sika baba mumanya biaye shebufoto freedom freedom
all right abusha mada obibia a support life ma ye di abana wie no ase kola bia amamuti ye di dwumadie no ebesi ahanam na ya hwese if say possible you be to me start another life na dwumadie no so no ye di the tree version no e di abrewa ye di be no sa e di ama mesro say abra ye call life bia na this time around enwumre ebia no ebo 10 na ye be call life na ya ye 1 or 2 discussion bi na afei so no obi bia nso a ebia owo agenkyere bi anaso owo education bi edema the public no na kyerɛ also watumi I express ohun ewo afidie yi eso nti yɛbɔ anwumre bia 10 a yɛba live so ɛyɛ Ghana time nti also betumi adwene na odwene nso a bɔ homɔden sɛ yɛde line no atudwa betumi afrɛ na owo bibia nso waka ama yehina yɛde atutu yɛ ho efo na ama ɔman no atumi ɛde ne ntoma pa efra nti makrao sabri de nkra na makrao